Hey there, modern math teacher. Kristen Moore here. And I normally record all of these podcasts in the order that I'm going to be releasing them to you guys. But do you see this over my shoulder? It is the bright, beautiful sun. And it is February 24th here in Michigan when I'm recording. It is 50 degrees outside, you guys. I officially have spring fever. And so I had to do our spring fever episode right now. So, my friends, if you are feeling that mid semester slump or you're seeing the sun and you're getting just as excited as I am, you are clearly not alone. So, we are currently stuck between the winter little doldrums, right? And then the looming amazing summer break ahead. March can be a really tough month for both teachers and students, but that makes it the perfect time for a classroom reset. So, today, you guys, we're going to talk about some simple strategies to re energize your classroom this month because let's get real. Spring fatigue and spring fever is real. I'm feeling it, you're feeling it, they're feeling it. Students are distracted, teachers are stretched thin, and classroom routines are probably slipping. There we go. So, a quick reset can help you bring back structure, engagement, and energy for the rest of the school year. And today, we're going to talk all about how we can do that so that we can enjoy our time in the classroom just as much as we enjoy our time outside in the big, beautiful, bright, beautiful day. All right. So let's talk. Why is a spring reset essential? Guys, first of all, we are in the post winter slump. There is a long stretch between winter break and summer, and this is really tough on motivation for our students and for us, right? The holidays are over. The snow days are looking like a thing of the past, although fingers crossed, Michigan usually gets at least one in March. And we're really trying to just power through one day at a time. Guys, I love my job. Absolutely love my job. But I've already got a summer countdown going on my phone, and I get excited every single day just thinking about it. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you love your job or not. I know that you do the best in your classroom, but we're all still feeling this post summer slump. So we're there. We're in this slump, and what else is feeling tired? Our classroom routines, guys. We have been with these students since August, September. They're used to you. They're tired of the same old, same old. They've got routine fatigue, okay? So, what worked for us in August, September, October might not be working now. Our students need a little bit of novelty, a little freshness to stay engaged with us. It doesn't have to be anything like earth shattering, okay? But it could be if you want to jump in and try something new, like you've never done PBL and you want to try a PBL this unit, snaps to you. Spring is the 100% perfect time to try a PBL. We'll talk about that later. Right now, we're talking about routines, okay? Uh, so anything could help keep our students sharp and engaged. Just a little novelty, a little fun, a little zhuzh, a little something, okay? And friends, have you started to notice a behavior shift? Oh my goodness. Today, my kids were just killing me a little bit. Students are getting a little bit more chatty. Their phones are becoming a little bit more distracting, even if they're supposed to be up in those phone pockets. Their bathroom breaks, they're taking longer for sure. And they're a little bit more resistant to work. Okay. So if these small behaviors are starting to slip and starting to pile up on you, again, now is the time to reestablish these expectations. Don't worry, my friends. I'm here to reassure you that a small reset now can make the last few months of school way more manageable. So, are you ready? Let's get to this. I've got 3 quick ways to reset your classroom today that we'll talk about. Number one, I want you to consider refreshing your classroom norms and your expectations. So, back at the beginning of the year and again at the semester, we talked about classroom agreements. It's time to revisit these agreements. Instead of just repeating the rules and I say it, they say it, we're echoing it back, I want you to involve your students in a quick discussion. What's working in class and what do we need to adjust? Okay. And you're going to use this and try a classroom contract reboot. You've done a social contract, you've got a classroom contract. I want you to have your students brainstorm behaviors that help versus hurt the classroom environment, right? They know what it means to be a student in your class. They know how they want to be treated. They know how you want to be treated. They know how they want to treat each other. But let's go ahead and brainstorm some of those behaviors that are helpful right now and some that hurt so that we have something tangible and concrete we can refer back to with our students. Okay. And with that, you just want to make some small shifts. So, resetting your expectations can be as simple as reteaching a key routine or introducing a new one, right? A novel one to support that increased autonomy that your students naturally gain as they become more successful navigating your classroom, learning how your class works, learning how you work. Your students are more comfortable, they're set, they know what to do. So getting a new routine to help them with that autonomy is going to be really helpful for you. You want to give them guidelines, or you can have them co-create these guidelines to keep things running smoothly for you. So that is a refresh of your classroom norms by revisiting your social contract or your classroom contract. Okay. And if you don't have one already and you want to create one, it's for sure not too late. I'll link in the show notes to a simple class contract that I use every time. It'll take you 20 minutes in your classroom and it will enhance your behavior like tenfold. Okay. All right. Number two, I want you to consider adding in a small element of surprise or novelty. Okay. So you could consider things like changing up the seating arrangements or your classroom setup. I am guilty of doing this basically every unit, but it always helps kind of re-shift. Okay. So even a minor shift can re-energize your student interactions. I'm known to change my unit as or my my seats as often as every unit. And literally, I had a table break on Friday, and so I had to reset and rechange my classroom today. My students came in, they were like, "Oh, this is different. Okay." And they rearranged themselves around the room, and I'm going to see how this works for 2 weeks. See how this works with our energy. Okay. Every year my students change, right? And that's going to bring new energy. And that needs to be accounted for in your classroom design. So what worked for you last year or even last semester might not be working now. I want you to try shaking things up a bit. Move some tables, move some desks. Try groups of 4 instead of groups of 3. Try just duo desks, partners, right? Instead of groups of 4 or whatever it is that you have, okay? So you could change up your seating arrangement. Another way that you could introduce surprise or novelty or something is to introduce a new format. What's something you don't really do in your classroom? Maybe it's choice boards. You don't do them very often, but they're fun, right? So introduce choice boards, or maybe it's stations, okay? Just to give them a change of pace. As I mentioned, if you want to try project based learning, now is 100% the perfect time. You've already established routines that you need to keep your classroom running smoothly, and you know your students well enough to know what their interests and aspirations are to see how well they'll engage in a project. So if you're interested in designing a PBL or doing a PBL this spring, 100% this is the time to do it. Your students know you, love you, they'll give you good feedback on it. Okay. Another way you could introduce a small element of surprise or novelty is to just kind of gamify a review. Okay. Just use a very low lift competition or a challenge to boost engagement. Maybe you split them into teams. You call it like a bingo, or whoever gets the answer first, they put it down, you buzz in like it's trivia. I don't know. Make it super low lift. AI can help you design what exactly you want to do with that review. But it just kind of shakes things up from the norm. Okay. So whether you are changing around your physical space in the classroom, so your seats, or just other arrangements in your classroom, you are introducing a new format like choice boards or stations or a PBL, or you're just trying something super low lift like gamifying a review. Those are 3 small ways that you could add a small element of surprise or novelty. All right, let's move on to simplifying and streamlining to reduce the overwhelm. Friends, we're overwhelmed enough. We don't need anything extra. Our students also overwhelmed enough. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut to it. 1, trim the unnecessary tasks. I want you guys to focus on high impact activities. What's really moving the needle in your classroom? Double down on those and get rid of things that aren't working. Simple as that. 2, batch grading and your feedback. I love time blocking, batching. One small way to make your workflow easier this week is to just batch grade and give feedback. Okay. And you can use AI to help you with like some quick feedback if you need to. Create a resource bank, copy paste. It's great. And I also want you to set a teacher boundary. Give yourself permission to leave school on time 1 day this week. 1 day. If you don't normally do it, leave on time 1 day this week as part of your own reset to give yourself that re energizing boost and bring yourself through with that spring energy. Okay, so again, those were 3 quick ways to reset your classroom. 1, refresh your class norms and expectations, do a reset of your social contract. 2, add a small element of surprise or novelty. Man, I knew if I said it long enough, that was going to get me. So whether that's changing up your classroom arrangement or your seating charts, trying a new format in your classroom, choice board, stations, PBL, or gamifying your review, right? One of those small elements. 3, simplify and streamline. There we go, to reduce the overwhelm. Cut the unnecessary task. Batch what you do still have to do and set yourself a boundary. Leave on time. All right. Now, I've got 3 simple strategies you can do this week to re-energize your classroom. If you have 5 minutes, just 5 minutes this week, I want you to go ahead and ask your students, what's one small change that would make our classroom run better? Ask them. They'll give you answers. I promise. If you have a full class period you can dedicate to this, do a classroom contract reboot to reinforce those expectations. Even if you have like half a class period, you could do that. Okay. If you have a full week to test things out, and why not, right? It's fun and novel for you. It'll be fun and novel for them. Try one small change each day. Try new seating. Try a different activity or a different class structure. Just do it. Make one small change each day. Bonus idea, you can check out any of the PBL resources if you're interested in trying PBL. Again, I'll link to those because it's just a great time of year to do that. So, okay, 10 minutes. Perfect. All right, you guys. I'm feeling the spring fever. I'm definitely going to want to go get outside. But I know I have more of these to record. So that's it for today's episode. If you are looking for resources to help streamline your classroom or projects and PBL experiences to keep things fun and fresh for your students, make sure to check out all of my resources in the More Than Just X store on TPT. I've got things for your classroom norms, your social contract, the PBL, the hands-on activities, whatever it is you want to try. I probably got something for you. I'm going to make sure to link that here in the show notes. And remember, you guys, a simple reset doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just has to be intentional, okay? Small shifts now can lead to big wins later. All right, friends, keep reinforcing what works in your classroom. Keep finding ways to make your teaching feel lighter. And as always, till next time, keep it real.